So if your next cruise is pulling into St. Lucia, forget about everything you know about the standard Caribbean ports like Cozumel or Costa Maya. This island is completely different. It's raw, dramatic, and it's really, really stunning. Think about towering volcanic peaks, dense rainforests, hidden waterfalls, and black sand beaches. But here's the catch. St. Lucia is also incredibly mountainous, the roads are aggressively winding, and on a heavy cruise ship day, the traffic can turn your dream vacation into a logistic nightmare. If you don't plan this port right, you will spend your entire day stuck in the back of a hot van. In this video, we're breaking down exactly how to navigate the Castries cruise port, the crucial safety habit most cruise passengers forget, and the exact boat excursion we use that completely bypasses traffic and lets you see the absolute best of the island. One thing I always tell people when booking a cruise, especially if it's your first time, is to choose itineraries with ports you are generally excited about. It changes your whole experience, and you don't need to be on the biggest ship in the world to enjoy it. Personally, Eric and I still love mid-sized ships because the vibe is just more relaxed. As far as St. Lucia itself, you port right there in Castries. You'll likely step off the main cruise terminal, and as you exit, you'll walk through a pretty standard shopping area filled with restaurants, bars, duty-free shops, and local vendors. Compared to some of the other Caribbean spots, St. Lucia is incredibly laid back. The local vendors are just trying to make a living, but they aren't overly aggressive. A simple, polite no thank you is usually all it takes. Before you even leave the pier, there is one critical travel habit I need to mention because I don't do this enough in many of my videos, but it's especially important here. Take a picture or a screenshot of a local port agent information. You can find this usually listed in the ship's daily newsletter or right near the gangway or inside the cruise ship terminal. Nobody expects things to go wrong, but if you experience a medical emergency, a major transportation breakdown, or worst case scenario, you miss the ship, that local port agent is going to be your lifeline. They'll coordinate directly with the cruise line to help you figure out the next step. It only takes a couple seconds, so just snap a photo. And as for local currency, it's the Eastern Caribbean dollar. However, you really don't need to exchange your cash. Virtually everyone accepts US dollars. All major restaurants, tour operators take credit cards, but definitely keep a little bit of cash on hand just for tips, taxis, or local vendors. And if you do need cash, get it from the ATM on board the ship before you walk off, rather than using a random standalone ATM. As far as safety is concerned, St. Lucia is widely considered one of the safer destinations for tourists in the Caribbean. Just use standard common sense. Keep an eye on your belongings at the beach, don't flash large amounts of cash, and you'll likely have zero issues. If you want to keep your day incredibly affordable and simple, your easiest option is heading straight to Vigie Beach. It's located relatively close to the port and the local airport there. You could technically walk there, but in the Caribbean heat, I highly recommend you take a taxi. Just be prepared because taxi prices in St. Lucia have gone up. Expect to pay more or less like $10 to $15 per person each way, depending on the size of your group, and always confirm the price with the driver before you put the car in drive. Vigie Beach is a very authentic, local experience. You won't find the massive amenities of a high-end beach club, but it's a beautiful, budget-friendly spot to swim and relax. Afterward, you can head back to the Castries cruise port area to grab some local food and shop. Your other option is Marigot Bay, which is easily one of the most photographed bays in the entire Caribbean. It has a much more upscale vibe to it. There's a lot of nice yachts, some nice restaurants. There's some restaurants there along the boardwalk. But as far as what you're going to do and what options you may have, by the time you piece together multiple taxi fares, water taxi transfers, beach shares, food and drinks, you might end up spending more money to do that than you would an excursion that's going to take care of all that for you. And that leads me into the next option, which brings me to our absolute favorite option, favorite way to experience St. Lucia. If you could only visit the island once, this is the exact tour I would recommend. We've done it ourselves, and it honestly ranks as one of the best cruise excursions we've ever taken anywhere in the world. Spencer Ambrose is still one of the top-rated independent tour operators in St. Lucia, and for good reason. His land and sea tour works so well because it packs a massive itinerary into a single cruise window. You get boat transportation, coastal sightseeing, local food, beaches, waterfalls, snorkeling, and the famous volcanic mud baths. But what I think makes this tour really fun is the boat ride down to Soufrière. It's about a 45-minute boat ride, and it's just stunning. I'd rather do that than sitting in traffic trying to navigate around the island. And then once you finish the boat ride, you'll hop on a minibus and you'll hit the southern end of the island to get to the mud baths and the waterfalls. But the bulk of the heavy travel is done out on the water. Just a quick heads up, if you're prone to a little motion sickness, definitely keep that in mind. Take something before you leave the ship. Depending on the weather, that open ocean ride back can get a little choppy. But what really gives you peace of mind booking with Spencer is the security. Spencer is actually a retired St. Lucian police officer, and it shows. He knows every square inch of this island. And everywhere you go, the locals know and respect him. When you're managing tight cruise port timelines, being with an experienced professional really makes a difference. I know some people only feel comfortable booking directly through the cruise line, and that's totally fine. But established independent operators like Spencer build their entire business models around cruise ship schedules. They know exactly when the ship is in dock and when the final gangway goes up. Plus, because you're in a smaller group, you move much faster. You aren't wasting hours waiting on a giant 60-person tour bus. When you walk out of the terminal, you'll meet Spencer's team at a designated spot right outside the port. You'll board the boat and you'll start to head south. Your day will include stopping at the famous Sulphur Springs to do the volcanic mud baths. You'll wash off in a gorgeous waterfall, you'll hit a local buffet for lunch, and then snorkeling right under the shadow of the Pitons at Sugar Beach. If you're packing for this, make sure you bring water shoes, reef-safe sunscreen, a waterproof phone pouch or dry bag, and then a light rain jacket because quick tropical showers are super common in this area. I also want to share a quick note for families traveling with younger kids. The very first time we came to St. Lucia, our kids were still pretty small. When we got to the mud baths, Erica was really looking forward to that experience, but I wasn't too worried about it for myself, so I stayed back to look after the kids while she jumped in and enjoyed that experience. I tell people this because you shouldn't let having younger kids hold you back from exploring. You don't have to participate in every single activity to have an unforgettable day. Just the boat ride and the beach alone are worth it. Just keep in mind that this is an active, fast-paced excursion, so make sure to pack plenty of snacks, extra water, your cruise ship towels, and a change of dry clothes to keep the kids comfortable. Now, an alternative option. Now, if you absolutely don't want to do the speedboats or you get seasick really easily, there's an excellent alternative tour by car that we've linked below. It covers a ton of ground by road, skipping the boat entirely. You'll get to visit the local fishing villages, sample fresh fruit at a massive banana plantations, see the volcano, and most importantly, walk the incredible Tet Paul Nature Trail. The panoramic views of the Pitons from that area is easily one of the best photo spots on the island. If you do choose the land tour option, just make sure to select Point Serafin as your pickup location when booking. That's the main terminal where your ship will be. So a few last minute tips for St. Lucia. Make sure you book early. Independent operators, especially individuals like Spencer Ambrose, sell out months in advance sometimes, especially during peak cruise season. Always check the clock. Always make sure that you're operating on local time, and make sure that if the ship time and local time are different, that you keep track of that so you don't get left behind. While cell service is great near the cruise port area, it gets very spotty as you move south into the mountains. So download your maps and your tour confirmations before you walk off the gangway. And also for anyone else that creates content, St. Lucia has gotten a little bit strict when it comes to drone usage around the resorts and areas like that. So make sure you check with local laws or authority before you fly your drone. Our first time in St. Lucia was a few years back, and so when I took some of this drone footage, I didn't have any issues with the areas that I was capturing the video in. Also, St. Lucia is just too beautiful to spend your day in that port area. If your budget allows, get out on the water, see the Pitons, and experience this island properly. If you found this guide helpful, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, share this video with the people you're traveling with, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions about planning your day, drop them in the comments below. I'll be sure to get back to you. I'm going to leave you with some of the footage that we had from our actual day on one of our recent trips to St. Lucia. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.